Hey, Brandon here. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for tuning into this post-combine wide receiver show. I'm going to go over my top 10 wide receivers as we continue our march towards the NFL draft. The combine was this past weekend, so we got another piece of the puzzle, only two pieces of the puzzle remaining, and that is draft capital and landing spots. So I hope you're having fun because I certainly am. We're going to go through my top 10. If this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. My purpose of this channel is to get you ready right now for the rookie drafts that are coming up on your Dynasty rosters. I've got film breakdowns. I got all 22 film breakdowns, rookie reports, in-depth shows talking about all the rookies that you're going to draft. So please hit and subscribe to the channel. If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing to my Devy to Dynasty dashboard. It is a great database with over 700 players in it. I do rookie ranks, Dynasty ranks, college player ranks, 2024 draft class ranks, 2025 draft class ranks. So if you play Dynasty and you're looking for maybe dipping your toes into a little bit more depth, getting ready for future classes, hit me up via email in the show notes below. So the combine was good. What do I take from the combine? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of take the combine. I look for 10-yard splits primarily out of the wide receiver group. I'm looking to see if the athleticism that we see on the field at the combine kind of matches what I see on film. So I really don't adjust my ranks too crazy up and down based on 40 times and broad jumps and, vertical leaps and everything. I try not to let this thing kind of sway. These players train specifically for these drills, so not all the time are they going to really, display, I guess, what the player and the player's athleticism is rather. But nonetheless, it's another piece of the puzzle. So we're certainly going to take that information and, incorporate it into our ranks. So again, here are my top 10 players that I believe are going to hit our Dynasty rosters that will be drafting in the first 3 to 4 rounds of our rookie draft. So let's get right to it. I'm going to start with number 10. This is a tough one for me. KAYSHON BOUTTE, measured in at 5'11", 195 pounds. I really liked his game last year. This year, I did a rookie report on this channel. Feel free to kind of search on this channel. And my co-host Jason and I, we really discussed that. Look, it was a disappointing year for BOUTTE, right? I mean, last year, he just was dominating. He comes in this year. He got, hurt in his sophomore year. Just never got really on the field this year. There's some intangible things that I'm a little concerned about, and I had to drop him down my board. The more I hear about the things that, the way he, just held himself at LSU. Good player, didn't test really, really well at the combine. Again, we're going to take that information. Not that I'm going to certainly overreact, but I don't think the measurables and, all of his, 40 time and everything came in as well as I think a lot of people were expecting. So I have to drop him down to, my number 10. He was number 7 before, and I just can't. There's other guys that I just like better, but the intangibles rather, are something that I consider important. It's a piece of the puzzle that we really don't know much about, but I think there's enough smoke out there that there could be some fire of what his work ethic is and all of that stuff. So got KAYSHON BOUTTE at number 10. Number 9, Tyler Scott, kind of a guy coming out of nowhere, junior coming out of Cincinnati, another fast receiver. Man, this whole class is littered with 5'10", 511 guys, between 170 and 185 pounds. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they land in the draft capital and how these teams view all of these guys. Most of them are fast, got good hands, twitchy athletes. That seems to be what the NFL is going for these days. And Tyler Scott, he made an impression at the combine, played primarily out wide too for a 5'10", 177. So you see on the draft card here, he played 96% of his snaps at Cincinnati out wide. So he's probably going to play more the wide than the X receiver, but he could possibly play both. But the speed is what the NFL is going to like about this kid. He's probably a little raw in the route running. Again, all of these smaller receivers are going to have physicality concerns. But again, if they can get these players in open space and get the ball in their hand, Tyler Scott is a guy that I don't think is going to get out of the 3rd round, might sneak into the 4th. But I think after the combine, he's a guy that is going to be kind of creeping up boards. He tested really well at the combine. And I think the NFL is going to like his speed. Coming in at number 8, Josh Downs, coming in at the combine measuring 5'9", 172 pounds. Unlike Tyler Scott, who we just talked about, Josh Downs, he played primarily in the slot. So he is going to be a slot receiver at the NFL. Like Josh Downs, twitchy athlete, good ball skills for his size. The issue again is his height, 5'9", 172 pounds. He's kind of like last year's Wan'Dale Robinson, right? This time last year when Wan'Dale Robinson went to the combine, or I don't know if it was his pro day or whatever, but it was like, oh my goodness, he's 5'9". I think he's 5'9", but we were all thinking he was 5'11". And, we're starting to find out that these college measurements aren't very accurate on their school websites. But nonetheless, 5'9", 172 pounds. He's a small guy, right? But he makes up for it with twitchiness. He's got really great hands. I mean, he's got a 74% reception rate for 3-year junior coming out of college. He's got really good sticky hands, acceleration, movement skills. I like everything about him. It's just his size. Is he going to be more of a gadgety type player, or is he going to be able to feast from the slot? Now, as an Eagles fan, I would love to see Howie Roseman take a shot in this kid in maybe the 3rd round. I don't know. Right now, you can see on the player card here at draftdatabase.com, I mean, he's getting 45th round or 45th selection. So he's looking like a day 2 pick. But he's going to need to land in a spot that has, I think, a well-established, alpha on the team. We're going to allow him to really utilize his space ability to create space for himself. But exciting player in Josh Downs. Coming in at number 7, another smaller receiver. One of my favorites, has been one of my favorites. Has not been nearly as productive as Josh Downs, but again, Marvin Mims coming in here at number 7 for me. 5'11", 183 pounds. Of all of these smaller 5'10", 11 receivers, I really believe Marvin Mims is the most physical, tested really well, had a good 40 time, at the combine. So he's a little faster than I thought. But what I like about Marvin Mims, unlike Josh Downs, and why I have Mims a little higher in my ranks, is the fact that Mims is more, of a vertical threat. He played, if you look here on the player card, he played 46 in the slot and 53 outside, right? So now look, he's admitted at the combine that he has a limited route tree, and that was a question that people are questioning his profile, is that, what did you run at Oklahoma? So he's probably not the most, technical route runner, but man, this guy plays quick. I think he's twitchy. I think his physicality is reigns supreme in this class with all of these guys in the same kind of size area. I like Marvin Mims. I'm excited. I'm going to be drafting him in a lot of my leagues. I mean, he's probably going to be a day 2 guy at this point. Again, another guy that's going to, I think, not going to be a wide receiver 1 on an NFL roster, but if he can find himself on a good team and, I think he could be a solid wide receiver 2 on a team. And overall, I think he could be a wide receiver 3, maybe in a year or 2. All right, coming in at number 6, all right, JALIN HYATT, measured in at 6 foot, 176 pounds at the combine. Listen, man, this guy's a tough eval for me. Again, on this channel, I did a deep dive, all 22 game film of his Alabama and Georgia game, and I believe his Kentucky game. And he's a difficult eval for me because he just really made all of his bread and butter in space, right? He never faced press coverage or hardly at all. So I really don't know what kind of route runner he is, but he tested pretty good at the combine. He's getting day 1, day 2 draft, day 1 or round 1 and round 2 draft capital buzz. So, I mean, he look at the draft card here at mockdraftdatabase.com. It's always a tongue twister for me. Sorry. Coming in at number 26. So, I mean, right now he's projected to be a 1st round draft pick. I mean, he's been, going to the Chargers and going to the Cowboys maybe in the 1st round, but he's got the speed, right? He's going to be the field stretcher kind of player where someone's going to, again, try and get him in space. He's got good yak ability, got really good deep ball tracking skills, got good hands, 72% catch percentage over 3 years. Again, he's just a raw route runner, but a lot of these kids I call them kids because I'm an old man, but a lot of these guys are going to the NFL with still a lot to learn, and they can still get better. So speed in the NFL. JALIN HYATT has got that calling card. He's going to get the draft capital, and as a result, I think he's going to go probably round 2, early round 2, maybe sneak into round 1 in our rookie drafts if, in fact, he gets that draft capital. Coming in at number 5, I got Zay Flowers, all right, 5'9", 182 pounds. For a small guy, all right, he has, another 10 pounds over Josh Downs. Man, Zay Flowers is another tough eval for me. His reception percentage over his 4 years at Boston College was only 58%. He's had some drop issues, but man, his agility, his twitch, his space creation, his acceleration, yak ability are really, really good. And it's its hands, and I guess his physicality overall is, what the concern is. But again, he's just another smaller receiver, which project to the NFL decently, but not a lot of these smaller guys really become consistent dynasty assets, on our roster. So it is a bit concerning, but I just love the twitch. I like the movement skills, and that's what the NFL's looking for. Again, he's going to be probably playing primarily, in the slot, 66% here on the draft card. So he's had the ability to go outside and in the slot, but I can see him being a slot receiver primarily in the NFL. Coming in at number 4, one of my favorite players in the draft, and probably I'm higher on him than most, but that's okay. We all have our guys, right? The guys that we believe in, that we've watched. I fell in love with CEDRIC TILLMAN here, coming in at number 4, measured in at 6'3", 213 pounds in the combine. Really just like what I see with Tillman. He's one of the bigger receivers in this class. So if there's an NFL team out there looking for some sort of, boundary X, wide receiver, played primarily in the Y, didn't play in the X, which I'm not sure why, because he has good boundary skills. He's just had 1 year of production. He's a 5-year senior. That's a big turnoff for guys that do the analytical numbers, and he's probably written off for a lot of players or a lot of people because of his, his production profile. He didn't really do anything. I think he caught 8 passes for his first 3 years in Tennessee, but they had a coaching change, and he blew up in 2021 and got hurt this year in 2022. So, we've got 1 year of production, but what I saw, again, on this YouTube channel, go back, search CEDRIC TILLMAN, and go watch his 2021 game versus Alabama and Georgia and tell me that you don't like him. Maybe not as much as I do, but a guy that should certainly be on your radar. Coming in at number 3, Jordan Addison, measured in at the combine at 5'11", 173 pounds. It's probably going to be a first-round draft pick. Might slip into the second. We'll have to see. I think it's a good defensive crop this year in the NFL draft, so we'll have to see how many receivers. I'm thinking maybe 3 or 4, and Jordan Addison's probably going to be one of them. He moved from Pittsburgh to USC to play with Lincoln Riley this year, and certainly was productive. Again, he's one of these smaller guys on the light side. I'd like to see him come in a little bit more at 173 at 5'11". I mean, if he was 5'9" and 173, like we kind of just talked about with Josh Downs, I could understand, but he's 2 inches taller and the same size. So the physicality there is a little bit of concern. But again, we see Devonta Smith had gone to the NFL, plays for my Eagles. So much concern about him. Now look, he could be a unicorn when it comes to that size, lack of size, speed element. But he's a twitchy receiver, Devonta Smith, who gets open, and I can see Jordan Addison kind of taking the same kind of role. I'm not comparing him skill set wise to him, but as far as just getting open, again, not a wide receiver one on a team. He's going to need another alpha, but I can see Jordan Addison being a great kind of possession receiver, especially for a new quarterback that might be playing in the NFL. So Jordan Addison comes in at number 3 for me. My final 2 are probably no surprise because they're probably either your 1 or 2 or 3 in your personal rankings, but I got Quentin Johnston here at number 2. 6'3", 208, came in a little lighter than people expected when he weighed in at the combine. And, here's the bottom line. Go watch my rookie report on this channel for all of these players. I have rookie reports for everyone that I've mentioned here in this show, and it'll give you a deep dive of my scouting on them and their player projection and their dynasty and all that. Quentin Johnston, there's only one thing about him that I have concern about, and that's his physicality at the catch point. Don't think he uses his length the way he possibly could to be better, but man, I'll tell you, from an athleticism standpoint, and his tall, he's got the length, he's got the speed, he's got the twitch, he's got it all, but there's something about him that just, I'm going to just have to look past, is that his, alpha mentality at the catch point. Too many body catches where the ball's up in the air and he just doesn't use that physicality and that frame to go up and dominate at the catch point. I'm hoping he gets on a good NFL team. It's going to be a first-round pick. I can't imagine him getting out of the first round. I'm hoping a coach can just get that dog in him, and we can see that on a regular basis. I saw some dogs sometimes, but I didn't see the dog all the time, and that sometimes is a concern for me. But he's got the physical traits that I think a team's going to take a shot on him and say, man, this kid's length, and he could be special if we could refine his route running and his skills and get him to really attack the ball at the 50-50 catch point. And coming in at number 1, JAXON SMITH-NJIGBA for me, 6 foot, 196 pounds. Now, there's going to be people that are concerned about his injury. He had a hamstring injury all season. Last year, he was certainly great at Ohio State. And there's no reason to doubt Ohio State wide receivers being taught the game by Brian Hartline. He consistently puts NFL receivers in the NFL. So, again, look at his catch percentage, 81%. He really only has 1 year of production. I think he had 6, 7 catches this year. And then when he was a freshman 3 years ago, he didn't play very much either. But that one season that he did, I mean, you saw the twitch, you saw the space creation. He's got sticky hands. He's got ball skills. Again, the only thing about him that people have concern about is his long speed. And for me personally, that's why I like the 10-yard split at the combine. I'm kind of looking at that more than 40 time. You know what? Cooper Kupp said it best: short area quickness over long speed. And you know what? He's absolutely right. Cooper Kupp never really had a great 40 time, I believe, at the combine, and he's turned out to be one of the most productive NFL receivers. So I'm not really worrying about 40 time, and that goes for running backs as well. It's all about the short area twitch and acceleration. And you watch Jackson Smith-NJIGBA. I mean, he doesn't have the long speed. He has film out there that he's gotten caught from behind from guys down the field, but I'm not going to worry about that. The possession game is a good one in the NFL, and if he can win in between the 10 and 15 yards off the line of scrimmage and get 5, 10 yak yards, that's good enough for me. But I mean, the guy can create space, and from again, from a wide receiver position, that's what it's all about. You've got to be able to create space in practice through manipulation and twitch and athleticism, and I think JSN fits the bill for that. So there are my top 10 wide receivers as of right now. This is a couple days after the NFL Combine. Should be a great run to the NFL Draft. So again, if this is your first time to the channel, thank you so much. Hit that subscribe button. And again, if you're interested in really, scouting for the future classes of the NFL, the product that I sell is, pretty affordable and is a great value to really, kind of get you looking towards the future a little bit. So again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you later.